Today, we're talking about something that's destroying millions of men silently, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. And that is the loss of purity, the loss of self control, and the loss of connection to God. We're also talking about the cure, and that cure is Jesus Christ and the disciplined, spiritually charged lifestyle of sexual purity. This isn't about shame, it's not about perfection, it's about restoration, becoming the man God always intended you to be. So let's break down 7 powerful reasons why Jesus Christ and a lifestyle of purity absolutely restore hope for the modern man. Reason 1: Christ restores a man's identity. One of the biggest crises destroying men today is the identity crisis. Modern men don't know who they are. They're disconnected from God. They're lost in worldly labels. They're numbing themselves with pleasure. They're comparing themselves to fake images. They're trying to fill a spiritual void with physical stimulation. Sexual impurity takes away identity. It makes a man feel like a slave to his urges instead of a son of God. Christ restores that. He reminds you who you truly are, a child of God, designed with purpose, strength, intelligence, and divine potential. When a man remembers that he is made for greatness, his entire mindset shifts. Hope returns, strength returns, direction returns. Reason 2: Purity strengthens the mind, spirit, and willpower. Pornography and lust weaken the mind. Science and spirituality both confirm this. Lust fogs the brain, kills dopamine, drains energy, and creates dependency. But purity does the opposite. Purity sharpens the mind, it strengthens your willpower, it gives clarity, it builds discipline, it awakens spiritual sensitivity. When a man practices sexual purity, he literally becomes more focused, more calm, more confident, and more connected to God. Christ teaches self-mastery. He teaches us to rule our desires instead of letting our desires rule us. Modern men who commit to purity gain a powerful internal stability that most men never experience anymore. That stability becomes hope. Reason 3: Christ heals shame, guilt, and hidden pain. One of the most destructive things sexual sin brings is inner shame. Men hide their struggles. They feel dirty, unworthy, and spiritually distant. They feel like God is disappointed in them. They feel like they can never break free. But Christ comes to heal, not punish. He replaces shame with forgiveness. He replaces guilt with peace. He replaces fear with confidence. And when a man experiences that freedom, that clean, fresh spiritual start, his entire life changes. He carries himself differently. He speaks differently. He thinks differently. Hope returns because the past no longer controls him. Reason 4: Purity rebuilds masculine confidence. Modern men lack confidence because they lack self-control. Sexual purity makes a man timid, or sexual impurity makes a man timid, socially anxious, avoidant, ashamed, unfocused, and insecure. Purity rebuilds masculine confidence. When you master your desires, your confidence grows automatically. You walk differently, you speak differently, your eyes are clearer, your presence becomes stronger. People will literally feel the difference. Christ's teachings of discipline, integrity, and moral courage produce men who stand tall, men who are bold, grounded, and spiritually powerful. This confidence is a major source of hope for men who feel lost and unsure of themselves. Reason 5. Christ gives men a mission bigger than pleasure. Porn kills purpose. It tricks you into thinking short-term pleasure is enough. But deep down, every man knows, I was made for more. Christ gives men a mission, a calling that is bigger than themselves. Something to build, something to protect, something to fight for, something to sacrifice for. When a man steps into a divine mission, he no longer chases cheap pleasure. He chases growth, strength, service, and spiritual impact. Men lose hope when they lack purpose. Christ restores purpose, so naturally he restores hope. Reason 6. Purity restores real love and intimacy. Porn destroys real relationships. It rewires the brain to prefer fantasy over connection. It makes real intimacy feel awkward or difficult. It kills emotional presence, and it damages trust. Purity reverses all of that. When a man cleanses his heart and his habits, he becomes more emotionally available, more patient, more present, more romantic, more connected, more honorable. Christ teaches men how to love, truly love, with sacrifice, loyalty, and devotion. When a man lives with purity, he experiences deeper relationships, stronger marriages, and more meaningful connections. This brings tremendous hope, especially for men who feel isolated and lonely. Reason 7. Christ turns men into spiritual warriors. This is the most important reason. Porn and lust are not just physical temptations, they are spiritual attacks. They weaken men so they can't lead. They distract men so they can't hear God. They shame men so they stop praying. They isolate men so they can't stand strong. They weaken men so they can't fight evil. Christ turns men into warriors. He teaches courage. He teaches vigilance. He teaches strength. He teaches sacrifice. He teaches self-mastery. He teaches how to resist temptation and fight spiritual battles. A man who walks with Christ and embraces purity becomes a protector, a leader, and a light in the darkness. Warrior energy returns. Masculine energy returns. Spiritual strength returns. And with that strength comes the greatest gift of all, hope. Brother, listen closely. You were not made to be weak. You were not made to be addicted. You were not made to be lost. You were not made to be spiritually numb. You were created to be a son of God, strong, disciplined, courageous, pure, purpose-driven, filled with divine fire. Jesus Christ restores everything this world steals from men: identity, confidence, clarity, purpose, emotional strength, spiritual power, and hope. And purity is the path that awakens all of it. If you accept Christ into your life and you commit to a lifestyle of sexual purity, your life will change in ways you cannot even imagine. Hope will come back. Energy will come back. Your spirit will come back. Your confidence will come back. Your fire will come back. Because Christ is the source of hope, and purity is the path to power.